So now let's look at part C of exercise number 3. So as you can see here, it says generate a list of titles of reference material for courses conducted by a Department of Computers. So in the same manner, we'll be creating a rough work here. We'll be writing attributes, entities, operators, and we'll also mention the conditions. Okay, so now let's look at the question. It says generate a list of titles of reference material. List of titles. So title is referring to a course title here. Reference of materials, which means we may be talking about the reference entity or material or the course conducted by Department of Computer Science. So here we have a condition, which means we are referring to a department. But now the issue here is that we need to select an entity which will give us three things. First, the title, and these titles should have a reference to a material, which means we have to include three entities here. Okay, because if we are talking about the course, we can get the course title and the department from the course entity, but we won't be able to get a material or reference of the material. In order to have a material information, we need to have a reference as well, which means we need to have three entities here. So first one will be course, second one will be material, and the third one here will be a reference. So attribute involved here will be only course title. So now let's try to solve it. So course title, we have a condition here. The condition here is department should be computer science or Department of Computer Science in double quotations. Okay. Then we have a condition. The operators will be here, selection and a join, because we have three entities involved here. Okay. So here we have a department. So department name is computer science, or you can write Department of Computer Science. Then we need to have a join. The first join, as we have course, which is material and reference. So we have to first decide which entity we should involve as a first entity, second entity, and a third one. So if we are using a course first with reference, it is not possible to link them because course ID or ref ID are not there as a foreign keys. But in case if we are using a course and materials, we will be able to do it because course ID is a primary key and foreign key in materials. Can we link the material to the reference? Yes, we can. Because ref ID is there as a foreign key and primary key in the reference. So now let's try to do it. Course will be a course ID, a primary key equal to materials, which is a course ID. Then we have here the second entity, which is materials, close, then again materials, material have ref ID, which can be linked to reference, it will be a ref ID, and the name of the third entity, which is a reference. So we have to make sure all the parentheses are closed. So this is for part C. Okay, there is one mistake. I mentioned here course title. It should be a book title because it says list of title of reference material. So reference material should be a book title. So this should be book title. You can fix that as well. Okay, so this is not the one. So you have to remove this one here, and it will be a book title. Okay, so now the third question, sorry, the last question, which is D, which is a little bit tricky here. It says show the learner of every student who have registered in every course conducted by the Innovative Department of Economics. In this one, if you look at every course, so if you remember, it's a keyword we have to look at. The keyword here is every, which means we have to use here divide by. So we'll be using here the operator called as a divide by. So how we can do it? So it says show the learner ID of student who have registered in every course conducted by Innovative Department of Economics. Okay, so here we have two things. Learner ID, which is in two attributes. Every course, so which means we want to know all the courses, which is course ID. Then we also want to know conducted by the Innovative Department of Economics. Innovative here is a major field, and Department of Economics is a department here. So before, whenever we solve a divide by, which means we need to have a to list. We need to know about the learner and the courses. So first step here is that we need to create a list, which will be our step one, where we have all the learner IDs who have who are registered in major, which is innovative, and department, which is economic or economics. So how we can do it? So first step here is we have to get a learner ID, and we will filter based on department and the major. So major field here is equal to innovative, and department here is equal to economics. We have how many entities involved here? We have major field, we have here course, but we do not have any primary key, which means we have to make sure that we have three relations which are combined together. So we will have a learner first, which is equal to learner, which is learner ID, Okay, so we have learner ID, which is equal to register and learner ID, and here we have a second entity. Then we want to link this one with our third entity, which is course. So register have a course ID as a foreign key. So it will be a course ID. I will move here to the next line, which will be a third entity. The third entity name is a course. I will give it a name as economic or economics learner. You can give any name you want to. So this specific list, what it is doing is that it is filtering out all the learners based on condition that they have a major field innovative and they are from economics department. So my first list is for learners who have registered in this course. Now I want to create my step 2. The step 2 will consist of a list of courses we have for Department of Economics. Okay, so first list was for learners who have enrolled in these major and department, and the second one is economics because we want to find all the students who have enrolled in all the courses of the economics. So let's try to do that. So what we will do, we will filter out the course ID, and the condition here will be department only. And the department here is economics. So the name of the table here is course. So now we have two lists which is ready. So if you remember, whenever we use divide by, we need to have two lists. Okay. So you can write here economics course or as you want to. So now I have two lists which are ready in terms of expressions. The one list of the learners, the second one all the courses I have. So if you remember, we had a supplier parts where we had all the suppliers who have those parts, and then we had a part as another entity or another expression. So same thing we have here, two expressions are here. Now let's use a divide by. Now what I want to do is that I want to only take the ones which exist in the list of the learners and the courses as every. Okay, which means all the courses which I have listed in step 2 should exist for one specific user or learner I have in my step 1. Okay, so for example, if I have a student ID 123, he should have enrolled in all these courses which will be listed in step 2. How I can do it? I will take the names which I have assigned to them. So first, economics or capital learner, the same name which I had given to my first expression. So you can see the economics learner. I will use an operator divide by here, divide by, and divided by economics course. This is my step 3. I will give it a name as intermediate. Now I have an output from these specific results. I already have divided by each of them. But now I want have to make sure I have only a list of learners because my question says show the learner IDs only. When you can see here economics learner, economics courses will give you all the results for the course ID and the learner. And now I'm interested to only filter out the learner. So I